Hi, welcome to Reddit Tea Time. I, 26 female, am planning my wedding to my fiance, 27 male, in a few months. Everything is going great, and I love him so much. I can't wait to spend my life with him. He loves my family, and I, for the most part, love his. A bit of background. Fiance has a much older brother. While my future mother-in-law was pregnant 3 times in between them, all of them resulted in late miscarriages and stillbirths. As a result, mother-in-law put all of her motherly love and attention on fiance. He had never tried a fruit or vegetable before I met him because his parents never made him when he was young, and he had grown up assuming they were gross. I got him to try some, and he loves them now. As we were planning our guest list, we consulted our families about which and how many relatives we should invite. Future mother-in-law asked that we invite fiance's dead brother and sisters. When we asked what she meant, she wanted us to put up a framed photo of the dead babies in the pews at our wedding ceremony and then save them seats at our reception. I was horrified. First of all, we're trying to have a fairly small wedding to start with at a beautiful, intimate venue. We can only have seats for 30 to 50 people, and I would like these places to be for our friends and family, not people who have never met either of us because they're dead. Fiancé agrees that 3 or 50 seats reserved for dead people is too many. He suggested we compromise and just let mother-in-law put up all 3 photos in one seat. Personally, I think it's gross and weird to include any of them. We're starting our lives together. We want to have a family, and it almost seems like a bad omen, but it means a lot to her, and it's a fairly small ask. Fiancé's parents are paying for 75% of our wedding, and this is the only request she's had. So am I the bonehead for still refusing? Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. I have no words other than no goddamn way. That's the weirdest and creepiest thing I've ever heard. Not the bonehead. Your wedding is about you and your fiancé. It's not about anyone else or what they want. It's about the two of you and what you want. I can't even imagine going to someone's wedding and there being photographs of dead babies in the pews. I can't even imagine how traumatic that could be for some people who have experienced a miscarriage or stillbirth. I would be drawing a firm boundary. I don't even understand your fiancé trying to compromise and potentially choosing to have those photos at your wedding. It's not the time nor the place. If I wanted to tread carefully, I think my response would be, we don't know the personal stories of everyone attending our wedding, and we have no idea whether or not some of our guests could potentially find photographs of dead babies traumatic. It's not a risk we're willing to take. But I probably wouldn't tread carefully. I would instead just be firm with boundaries. I think it's important to have a really clear conversation with your fiancé about this. OP replied, he agrees with me that it's a gross request, but he thinks compromise will avoid some drama. He's worried that if we flat out say no, that she'll keep asking. Not the bonehead. That would be so disturbing. No one wants to see pictures of a dead baby at a wedding. My husband's grandmother died shortly before our wedding, so we added an in memory of line to our wedding program to acknowledge her. I truly hope your future mother-in-law gets the counseling she needs. Not the bonehead. Tell mother-in-law that the photos may be triggering to people who recently had miscarriages, and you don't want your wedding, repeat, your wedding, to be a source of grief for the guests and you. Edit it to add, maybe you could give her the opportunity during the reception speeches to say something about how she wishes her lost children could have been there. Not that she needs that time either, since it's a wedding, but if she insists on hijacking a wedding with a memorial service, then something verbal after the ceremony seems less intrusive. My nephew, 4 male, just graduated from preschool, and they had a preschool graduation. After, all the children came to my sister's 37 female house for a party, since they might not see each other again and will attend different elementary schools. My cousin, 35 male, came to the graduation and complained the whole time through the ceremony that it was stupid, and the kids shouldn't get to have a preschool graduation because he never got one. The kids also got recognized for learning how to read, which upset him, and he said loudly, I know how to read too. These kids are nothing special. The parents behind us became increasingly angry at him talking through the ceremony and confronted him, causing a scene. At the party, he ate several cupcakes meant for the kids, causing a shortage so some kids couldn't get any. He sat down at a kids' table and started quizzing the kids on trivia, and when they didn't know what he was talking about, he said they're not so smart after all. He specifically picked a fight with one little girl, 4 female. She was talking about how she learned to read, and my cousin told her, "That's nothing special. 86.8% of the population can read. Do you think your kindergarten teacher will be impressed? They won't." This led to a screaming confrontation with the girl's parents, causing children to cry. I had my cousin removed from the house. This caused a huge rift in our family, with his parents, my uncle and aunt, calling me to say, "How dare you choose the side of some random girl's parents over your own blood?" and chewing me out for my betrayal. Am I the bonehead? Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. I wonder if your cousin has graduated from anything. OP replied, "Yes, he graduated from high school and claims all graduations are stupid and pointless. He's convinced everyone hates graduations and birthdays." I found this way funnier than I should have. He's like a scene from a crap Adam Sandler movie. Not the bonehead, and it's not difficult to see why he behaves like this when his parents will not only sit back and do nothing while he's behaving this way, but actually stand up for his crappy behavior when someone doesn't put up with it. Not the bonehead. That guy has some serious issues if he purposely causes problems in a children's party. Your cousin, did you mean 5 instead of 35? If he feels the need to make kindergarten kids cry, I'd question his parents about their parenting. Not the bonehead. Not the bonehead. Has your cousin just recently learned to read? In all honesty, he sounds like he's developmentally disabled. Otherwise, he's the bonehead here. And that's coming from someone who agrees with him that celebrating preschool ending is ridiculous. The only way you're the bonehead is for not nipping it in the bud after his first comment at the ceremony. OP replied, "He just hates all graduations and birthdays because he says no one cares that you got a piece of paper or that you managed to not die. He believes no one enjoys graduations and that it's forced on people by society, and he's doing everyone some kind of service by livening it up with his commentary. He did graduate high school. I also believe he hates children in general." Not the bonehead. It takes a special kind of low to attend an event celebrating children and spend it bullying said kids. So here's the backstory first. I'm 36 and live in the UK. I bought my own home with some compensation money I received about 7 years ago. It was enough to allow me to buy a decently sized home with a little extra for a rainy day. I work part-time to pay the regular bills and give me some spending money. I'm not super well off, but I'm a lot better off than most are. During COVID, my sister lost her job and ended up moving in with me. I'm the only one of our family in the area, and the arrangement made was that I would allow her to stay in exchange for her covering half of the utilities and some token rent once she got a new job. All that happened. For the last few years, this has all worked well, but recently, she ended up discovering a secret of mine which is very embarrassing to have others know of, but only has impact on me and is really no one else's business. This week, she told our other sisters and our mom about it, causing me a significant amount of embarrassment, stress, and feelings of betrayal. Since I've now been effectively outed as a freak and a weirdo to the rest of my family, I've given her until Sunday to leave before I change the locks. She's complaining that she has nowhere to go. No one else lives locally enough to take her in and let her keep her new job. I told her that since for the past few years she's only been paying minimal rent, she should have plenty saved up to put at least a rental deposit down. She's saying I'm being the bonehead for giving her no time, but I just don't want her here anymore after taking something so private to me and just casually dropping it to all the people I care about. So my question is, am I the bonehead? Now for some comments. You know the only thing anyone wants to know is what the secret was. How big and bad matters in this scenario. Is it just embarrassment or possible other fallout from it being known? Mostly not the bonehead. Your house, your rules. OP replied, "Big enough that even on a new account I don't want to type it. But not bad, just very embarrassing for other people to know about." OP also said that it causes no harm to anyone, including myself, and it's not something that anyone else needs to worry about, but it is really embarrassing to have people know about. And worse to see the look they give me when they do know. Not the bonehead, and no one here needs to know your secret. As long as you have the legal right to evict her without notice and she can't claim tenancy, then do what you need to do to be healthy and happy. She played a dumb game and got a dumb prize. She's a grown adult who should have thought about the consequences of her actions. The only thing worth considering is any long-term implications of the family dynamic. Are you going to end up losing your whole family over this because they'll be mad at you? Your choice, just always worth thinking a year or 10 in advance if you can. Not the bonehead. You're better than me. If someone revealed an embarrassing secret of mine while paying little to no rent, I would kick them out that day. Since she's comfortable revealing secrets that have nothing to do with her to the family, she should live with one of them. Not the bonehead. Assuming your secret is harmless, she betrayed your privacy while depending on your goodwill. If she didn't want to be kicked out, she shouldn't have spread your secret. Although my judgment changes to everyone sucks here if your secret is very minor and only a little embarrassing, simply because you're not giving her any time to find somewhere to move to and could potentially be forcing her to live out of her car or something. Hard to say which without knowing the secret. OP replied, "It causes no harm to anyone. It's just really embarrassing to have people know this about me. It also makes people look at me differently and not in a good way." I, 32 male, have known my best friend since kindergarten. He got married a couple of years ago. His wife is cool, but can be a bit loud and extra sometimes. My girlfriend and I were together for 8 years. I loved her and absolutely adored her. Our relationship was already stressed towards the end. I have my faults that I can admit to, but I can't shake off the possibility that maybe I was the final straw. I'm not going to give away my ex-girlfriend's profession, but she did art on the side. My best friend has a pretty good marketing job and had actually been doing some sort of advertising or consulting thing for her employer for free. Like I said, his wife can be a little extra. I don't care because they're obviously happy together and I'm happy for them. She knows when and where to be chill and respectful though. She's not just loud all the time. My ex-girlfriend would make fun of them after we'd hung out. Full-on hateful personal attacks. I would ask her to stop when she wouldn't let it go. She broke up with me after our first couples therapy session. She said she was having problems with herself and needed to see her own therapist. Okay, whatever, I'm honestly cool with it. We were still living together. So she had an art show coming up. It was a big one and there would be some important folks showing up. She told me it would be a great networking opportunity. I get that. So she sent out invites to everyone including me, my friend, and his wife. They live an hour and a half away. The night before her show, she sat down next to me, laughed and said, "So, I need you to babysit your friend's wife tomorrow, and that I need to get them out of there as soon as possible and go out to eat or something." She then told me that she doesn't want to hear his wife's loud voice, or see her stupid hair, or see her little happy dances, or see her stupid face. And then she said she doesn't want to hear my friend's droning voice all night. She said that is my only job for the night. I reminded her that my friend is helping her company for free. It went on and on. The entire time she was doing an overly exaggerated impression of my friend's wife. I called my friend and told him that maybe we should skip the show and I'll drive up and hang out. He somehow knew something was wrong, so I just told him the truth. The next day, my now ex-girlfriend asked what time we'd be showing up. I told her we wouldn't be showing up because of how she acted last night. She flips out and starts screaming and throwing stuff and said I planned this on purpose to inflict maximum damage before her art show. I did not intend that at all. Anyway, she said that was the worst betrayal ever and she moved out a few days later. Maybe it was. Was I the bonehead or is it just a crappy situation where there wasn't a good outcome? I definitely feel guilty about something though. Maybe we could have worked it out if I didn't do that? Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. Frankly, your ex sounds a bit like a drama queen. She wanted them to drive a 3-hour round trip so you could babysit the couple for the brief moment they're allowed to be there, and then you're all to skedaddle ASAP? I fail to see how you and your friends not showing up at all inflicts maximum damage. I'd have noped out of that as well. You chose to not subject your friend and his wife to your ex-girlfriend's toxic tendencies, and the trash finally took itself out. Count your blessings. OP replied, "Sorry, I didn't mention that my friend is decently connected. He could put in a good word for anyone anywhere. My ex told me several times that working with him would look good on future resumes. She wanted him there for the networking opportunity and I essentially removed that chance." Another commenter said, "No, she removed that chance by being so horrible about his wife. I actually applaud you for finally taking a stand and choosing to no longer subject his wife to your ex's disrespect and ridicule. This is all on her. In all likelihood, this was going to eventually come back and bite her in the butt. Do you honestly think she only ridicules the wife to you and you alone? Not likely if your friend is doing some work for her employer. Your ex is a user. You just didn't have any reason to see it before. But she has treated the invite as though it was a summons, one that benefited only her. And she couldn't be bothered to swallow the contempt for the wife long enough to actually reap the benefits, even though she had enough info to know you didn't like these attacks on the wife. Let go of any residual guilt you may feel. You didn't betray your ex. Her own contempt and sense of entitlement betrayed her. It sounds to me like the only thing you should feel guilty about was staying with someone who was so mean to your long-term friends for as long as you did. Sounds like you're doing exactly what she asked. Plus several million for malicious compliance. 5 stars, not the bonehead. OP replied, haha, I've never looked at it that way. What do you think? Please let me know in the comments below. If you like these stories, please consider subscribing. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next Reddit story. In the meantime, please take care of yourself. Bye for now.